In measuring instruments, write your next heading, Vernier Caliper. Write your next heading, Vernier Caliper. Under that, please write, a vernier caliper is used. A vernier caliper is used to measure lengths with a higher accuracy than a meter rule. A vernier caliper is used to measure lengths with a higher accuracy than a meter rule. A vernier caliper is used to measure lengths with a higher accuracy than a meter rule. Underline the words higher accuracy. Okay, dear? I have given that sentence when I ask why we use a vernier caliper. Most of the students tell me to measure short lengths. I can't understand from whom they have learned that wrong idea. What's the length of a vernier caliper? Vernier caliper, let me draw a figure of vernier caliper, rough figure of a vernier caliper, right? This length is about 30 centimeters. Is 30 centimeters a short length for you? Is 30 centimeters a very short, very small length? Normal length of a vernier caliper 30 centimeters. You can use a vernier caliper to measure lengths up to 30 centimeters. If someone is going, it's a shorter length. You are right. They can be right. So why do we what's the use of a vernier caliper? To measure short lengths? No. A vernier caliper is used to measure lengths with a higher accuracy than a meter rule. I will explain the meaning of higher accuracy with the time. Vernier caliper කියපු ගමන් කියනවා පොඩි පොඩි කොට කොට යවමයි ඉන්න කියලා. පොඩි පොඩි කොට කොට යවමයි නෙමෙයි vernier caliper තියෙන්නේ. A vernier caliper is used to measure not thinner things, not perier things, but with high accuracy things. Exam එකේ එහෙම ලියන්න එපා කොට යවමයි ඉන්න පාවිච්චි කරන්නේ vernier caliper එක කියලා. පේපර් එකේ බලන එක කන බැලන එකයි කුණු වරප කියනවා කියලා. Why do we use vernier caliper? To measure the lengths with a higher accuracy. How to increase the accuracy? Stay in the lesson, I'll teach. Right, please write, continue, same line, same point. A vernier caliper has two scales. That's the point. That's the point. A vernier caliper has two scales. They are known as, look at board, they are known as the main scale and, they are known as main scale and vernier scale. Main scale and vernier scale. A vernier caliper has two scales. They are known as the main scale and vernier scale. Got it? Star point. A main scale is same as the main scale. A main scale is same as the scale of a meter rule. A main scale is same as the scale of a meter rule. Continue. Therefore, same line, same point. Therefore, the main scale is normally marked in Therefore, the main scale is normally marked in, look at board, 1 millimeter sections. The main scale is same as the scale of a meter rule. Therefore, the main scale is marked as 1 millimeter sections, within brackets 1 millimeter divisions. Examiner use that word also, sections, divisions, within brackets 1 millimeter divisions. Got it, dear? Right. So, look at board. Normally, main scale is marked like this. Right? But wait, we'll compare and draw. Star point and write. But a Vernier scale is arranged in many different ways. But a Vernier scale is arranged in many different ways. But a Vernier scale is arranged in many different ways. Number 1, by dividing a 9 millimeter length into 10 equal divisions. Divisions mean sections. What is the first way of arranging a Vernier scale? By dividing a 9 millimeter length into 10 equal divisions. Number 2, 19 millimeter length into 20 equal divisions. By dividing a 19 millimeter length into 20 equal divisions. You must have learned all these scales, one of them asked in the exam, right? Number 3, by dividing a 49 millimeter length into 50 equal divisions. By dividing a 49 millimeter length into 50 equal divisions. Number 4, by dividing a 24.5 millimeter length, by dividing a 24.5 millimeter length into 50 equal divisions. How do we arrange a Vernier scale? First, by dividing a 9 millimeter length into 10 equal divisions. Second, by dividing a 19 millimeter length into 20 equal divisions. Third, by dividing a 49 millimeter length into 50 equal divisions. Fourth, by dividing a 24.5 millimeter length into 50 equal divisions. Are you all okay up to this point? That's number 5, number 6. I don't give them now. I will give them at the end of the lesson. Number 5 and number 6. I'll give at the end after discussing this. Even I don't mention them. I'm so sure your friends have studied only these 4, but there are fifth one, there's a 5th one, there's a 6th one. I'll give them at the end of this lesson, not now. Your friends, they have learned only up to this, as I know. Write your next subheading, put number 1 and write the Vernier scale, which is arranged by, the Vernier scale which is arranged by dividing a 9 millimeter length, the vernier scale, which is arranged by dividing a 9 millimeter length into 10 equal divisions. The vernier scale, which is arranged by dividing a 9 millimeter length into 10 equal divisions. Underline it. Then write, as a simplest form of a vernier caliper, as the simplest form of a vernier caliper, as the simplest form of a vernier caliper, comma, the following arrangement can be used. As the simplest form of a vernier caliper, the following arrangement can be used. Am I going to give the most complex form or most simplest form of the vernier caliper? Simplest form. Look at board. A vernier caliper has two strips, normally made of metal. Mainly, a vernier caliper has two strips. Normally, length of this blue color strip is 30 centimeter. On the edge of this strip, a scale is marked 0, 1 millimeter, 2 millimeter, 3 millimeter, and here I'll consider up to 9 millimeter, but there will be a lot of, it should be up to 30 centimeter, it means 300 millimeter. So this is a normal scale that you can observe in a meter rule. If you have your foot ruler, the same scale is marked 1 millimeter, 2 millimeter, 3 millimeter, 4 millimeter, and so on. Got it? I have enlarged figure. Is 1 millimeter this much of long? No. Then there is another strip. I'm considering the simplest form of a vernier caliper. Then there is another strip. Another strip. This is a shorter one. Normally this will be 2-3 centimeters. A shorter one. Next week I'll show you a real vernier caliper. It is marked the 0 line here, and look at board, 10th mark here. This should be dotted lines because there are many other lines. What is this gap, Lamai? What is this gap? 1 millimeter, 2 millimeter, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So what is this gap there? 9 millimeter. Now this 9 millimeter length is divided into 10 equal divisions. Number 1 is here. If this length, look at board carefully. If this length is x millimeter, then we measure another x millimeter length and mark it as 2. Can you understand? Then we measure another x millimeter length and mark it as 3. Like that, we mark 9. What is this gap there? It's also x. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 up to 10. How many x sections are there? 1x, 2x, 3x, 4x, 5x, 6x, 7x, 8x, 9x, 10x. Therefore, what should be the gap between? Look at board. If the length of one section is x, what should be the length of 10 sections there? length of one section x. Therefore, length of 10 sections 10x. Am I right? So we can mark the length of 10 sections as 10x millimeter. So this is the basic, simplest form of a vernier scale arrangement. This section is known as the main scale. What is this called here? The main scale. This section is called the vernier scale. Length of a main scale section is L. Length of a main scale section is L. This L is equal to 1 millimeter, 1 millimeter, 2 millimeter. Therefore, length of a main scale section is 1 millimeter. Got it, dear? Draw the figure. Draw a very big figure because I want to mark few more things on the same figure. So draw the most possible largest figure. Draw it. I'm so sure your friends, they have studied only the 4 of the vernier scales arrangement that I have given. They have not studied 5 and 6. If they want, they can join to my class and learn 5 and 6 from next week. Length of a main scale division is L. This L is equal to 1 millimeter. Length of a main scale division is L. L is equal to 1 millimeter. This scale is known as the main scale. 1 millimeter, 2 millimeter, 3 millimeter, up to 9 millimeter. It is the main scale. Vernier scale, length of one section X, length of such sections 10x. Draw a very big figure. So simple. Please write the first statement. The length of a, first statement, the length of a Vernier scale division, division means section, the length of a Vernier scale division x millimeter, the length of a Vernier scale division equals x millimeter, x millimeter. Next statement, therefore the length of 10 Vernier divisions, 10 Vernier divisions, the length of 10 Vernier divisions, length of one division next, length of 10 division 10x millimeter, length of one Vernier division x millimeter, length of 10 Vernier divisions 10x millimeter. Am I right there? Now you see, according to this figure, look at board, according to this figure 10x length is equal to 9 millimeter. Can you see this dotted line? First vertical line, last vertical line. According to the main scale, gap between the two lines 9 millimeter. According to the Vernier scale, gap between the same two lines 10x. Am I right? Therefore, according to this figure, 9 millimeter is equal to 10x. Would like if I explain it again? Right, please write. According to the above figure, according to the above figure, according to the above figure, comma, leave a line and write 10x equals 9 millimeter. According to the above figure, comma, leave a line and write 10x equals 9 millimeter. Take 10 to the other side, then you get x equals 9 millimeter divided by 10. It means 9 divided by 10. What do you get? 0.9. Therefore, x equals 0.9 millimeter. Okay, dear? You see, 0 line and 0 line. First, you complete this. Length of a Vernier scale division x, length of 10 Vernier divisions 10x. According to this figure, if you look at the figure carefully, you will identify that 10x length is equal to 9 millimeter. Got it, dear? Right. 10x equal 9 millimeter, x equal 9 over 10, therefore x is 0.9. Look at board. Look at board. Right. අපිට මේක ගොඩාක් ලොකු කරලා දෙන්න මෙන්න මේ කෑල්ල විතරක් හරි ලොකුවට හොඳට පේන්න. මෙන්න මේ ටික ටිකක් ලොකුවට පේන්න. හොඳට zoom කරලා දෙන්න. Right. Zero line along the same straight line. Zeroth line, we say coincide. What's the word we use? Coincide. The zero lines along the same vertical line. Therefore, this zero line said to be coincide. When zero lines coincide, look at board carefully, stop writing. When zero lines coincide, gap between 1 and 1 is said to be the least count. What is simple area? Least count. You have to mark this on the figure. When 0, 0 coincide, gap between 1 and 1 is said to be the least count. That's why I have asked you to draw a very big figure. I said you to draw a very big figure. right අපිට normal view එක දෙන්න. Right, please write. When zero lines coincide, comma, the gap between the first lines. When zero lines coincide, the gap between the first lines, is equal to the least count. When zero lines coincide, C-O-I-N-C-I-D, coincide. When zero lines coincide, comma, the gap between the first lines is equal to the least count. When zero lines coincide, the gap between the first lines is equal to the least count. Look at board. This is the 0th line of the main scale. This is the first line of the main scale. Gap between 0 and 1 is L. It is equal to 1 millimeter. Look at board. This is the 0th line of the Vernier scale. This is the 0th line of the Vernier scale. This is the first line of the Vernier scale. Look at board carefully. Stop writing. First line of the main scale, first line of the Vernier scale. Length of this gap is x millimeter. We have found that x equals 0.9 millimeter. When 0 coincide, the gap between 1 and 1 is said to be the least count. Draw this figure. You should remember what the least count is. What is least count here? Smallest length that can be measured. The smallest length that can be measured by a Vernier caliper is said to be the least count. Draw the figure. Now please write, according to the above figure, I'm talking about this figure. According to the above figure, I'm talking about this figure. According to the above figure, comma, leave a line and write x plus a equals L. Am I right? X plus a, L. Am I right? Look at board. According to the above figure, comma, leave a line and write x plus a equals L. Look at board. X length plus a length is equal to L. Am I right? Just take x to the other side, then you get a equals L minus x. It means least count equals L minus x. This is the first important equation. Least count of a Vernier caliper is equal to simple L minus simple x. Simple L minus simple x. Below the equation, please write L equals the length of a main scale. The length of a main scale. X equals the length of a vernier scale, the length of a vernier scale. Got it? What's it there? L equals the length of a main scale. X equals the length of a vernier scale. So what is least count here? Least count of a vernier caliper is equal to length of a main scale division minus length of a vernier scale division. You can directly use this equation in the exam, no need to prove. You can directly use the equation, no need to prove. Right? I just want only 1 more minute to finish the class. Look at board. Finally, what is the least count? Least count equals, please write with me, least count equals L minus X. L is length of a main scale division 1 millimeter, length of a vernier scale division 0.9 millimeter. Can you subtract and tell me the answer? One minus 0.9 is 0.1 millimeter. So what's the least count of a vernier scale when a 9 millimeter length is divided into 10 sections, dear? 0.1 millimeter. So my advice is, when you go home, when you have free time, draw this figure and try to prove the equation least count equals L minus X. When you have a free time, when you are at home, try to prove the equation.